Everybody, welcome to my Daily Dose with Tim. Today is Season 2, Episode 3 already. Oh my goodness, third day into the second season. I am so happy to be back here and spending time with you guys. And thank you so much to all your comments and all your shares. That's what I've noticed already this season is that I really appreciate your support, and I'm hoping that that's because you're finding a lot of value and you're learning lots and getting lots from these videos, and that's why you're sharing with others. And so I really appreciate it. So just putting it out there, if you think that these videos can help anybody that you know beyond yourself, make sure that you share the videos with others as well. And I love your engagement. I love your likes, your loves, and your comments. It makes me feel so warm. And so as you guys know, the design for Season 2 is really all about mapping out the step-by-step guide to help you achieve financial freedom, financial independence, and really ultimately taking control of your financial well-being. Because again, what good financial being for some of you might mean something different compared to the person even just sitting right next to you right now. And so it's really up for you to define. However, that's also what I'm here for as well on some level, I guess, is that there is a technical definition between financial independence versus financial freedom. And those are two concepts that we're going to keep sort of dancing around with because everybody's sort of at different stages in their lives, and your wants, your desires, your goals are very different. And so by definition, financial freedom means that you have enough passive income. It could be, in this particular case, only from your real estate portfolio, or it could be a variety of things. However, the bottom line is your passive income is enough to take care of all of your monthly expenses. And so what that really boils down to, though, also, to be really honest, is that is sort of the bill of goods that we've all been sold. However, having gone through the journey myself now, a lot of you guys know that I actually break it down into 3 different numbers as well. So when it comes to financial freedom, I usually say that financial freedom number 1 is when your monthly passive income equals to or exceeds your basic monthly expenses. However, again, you know what, for most of us, yes, basic expenses are covered, so that's great. That means you actually don't have to get yourself up in the morning to go to a job that you actually don't really want to go to, that doesn't inspire you anymore, and that you're really just doing it to pay the bills. And there's this saying that goes, I wasn't born to just work and pay bills and die. And so while that is great, that is definitely the first financial freedom goal, because for most of us, financial freedom goal number 2 is what I would call your income replacement goal. So what that number really represents is your income that you need to replace, because this is also why we call your jobs, your JOB, just over broke incomes, the golden handcuffs. Why do we call it that? Because they pay you just enough. Your employers pay you just enough so that you not only are able to pay your basic bills, however, there's a little bit of extra left so that you are able to have a bit of a lifestyle. So you can go on vacation by yourself, with friends, with family, go out to movies, go out to eat, buy yourself something pretty, something nice once in a while, that sort of thing. And this is why it is so hard for a lot of people to actually walk away from their golden handcuffs. However, that being said though, a lot of you do enjoy what you do. And to be really honest, before I was laid off, I actually enjoyed what I did. It's just that I didn't like the politics that came with it, the stress that came with it, and most importantly, the demand of my time that came with it, that ended up making me sacrifice my health as well. And so for a lot of you guys, it's really about having that option to be able to walk away from your JOBs without having to worry about it as well. Everything is a process, just like goal number 1, goal number 2, and now we're gonna go to goal number 3 when it comes to your financial freedom number, which is what I would call a do whatever you want, however you want figure. So what that really means is, honestly though, I actually have not come across anybody in my entire career as an investor, as a business builder, as an entrepreneur, say that, oh yeah, you know, I'm where I want to be. Because honestly, what I find that after a certain point, most of us, we actually start to chase and pursue passion projects. And if it happens to be a business venture, and most of them are simply because you have to be sustainable. So you need to be able to make some profit so that it keeps the message growing and you can scale up and help more people as you go. The point is that do whatever you want, however you want, whenever you want. I'll give you a little bit of a context because I understand that I've been traveling around the world teaching people about financial independence and financial freedom and how to get there. And one of the things that almost everybody says, it doesn't matter which country you were born and raised in, most people will have travel on their list. Most people will have traveling around the world on their list. And here is a picture for you. When you say, if that's something that you want on your list, when you say you want to travel, would you rather have the time freedom to do it? And also, when you're looking at booking a vacation, are you constantly subscribing yourself to 5, 10, 20 different discount sites and always waiting and praying for the best deal possible? Or do you want to travel comfortably, nicely, and in style? Again, everybody's value system is a little different. However, that is a very clear picture that you can paint. I'll share with you. I don't judge you. Don't judge me. This is my personal choice because one of the things that I wanted to achieve for myself is that I want to be able to lie down on the airplane when I'm flying halfway across the globe to get to a vacation, to get to a destination. So when I'm there, I am refreshed. I am ready to take on the world and actually do some sightseeing to really absorb the local culture without having to deal with jet lags all the time, and that helps. And so that was on my vision board. And once I was able to achieve that, you know what? Traveling became even more fun. However, the point is, you don't have to be restricted, and that's what it comes down to for a lot of us as well. Is the ability to create options for ourselves so you don't feel like you're choked all the time with your options in life. So that is financial freedom. On the other hand of that is financial independence. And this is something that we actually touched on in the last season as well, which is the concept of the wheel of wealth. Ooh, that is not showing up very well. So this is basically how most tax authorities in your countries would actually deem what kind of taxes you need to pay, and they categorize your incomes. So in the wheel of income, or the circle of wealth, or the wheel of wealth, you have earned income, you have passive income, and you also have portfolio income. So really, from a tax authority perspective, what most of the times this just means that it's passive. So in most countries, especially in developed countries, what that means is you tend to be taxed at a higher rate there. Whereas on the earned income side, this is usually deemed as active income. Okay? And so earlier we just said the definition of financial freedom is when you have enough passive income to cover your expenses, and then you can go up that ladder that I just described for you as well. However, in this particular case, financial independence, honestly though, is being able to execute and create income streams from both earned and passive. Now, notice that I'm not talking a lot about portfolio income simply because a lot of the times, if you're hanging onto an income generating asset, meaning it's providing and generating passive income, ideally, if you're trained right and educated properly and you execute it the way you were taught and mentored, is you should be growing your portfolio income regardless. Okay, it's just that I wanted to make that differentiation for you guys as well. And this is why, funny enough, that leads us into today's main topic, is how you can actually spot an educated and professional investor or business builder. Is the fact that, and we kind of joke that we have this question that professional investors are highly allergic to, not actually, getting rashes or anything like that. However, it's the fact that a lot of the times, if you tell people you are a real estate investor. What most people will meet that comment with is one of the two questions, or both, really. The first one is often, oh, so are you like a realtor or something? Anybody's got that? So that's usually the first question that they'll ask you when you tell them you're a real estate investor or property investor. And the second question usually is, oh, so how many properties do you have? So the funny thing is, why does it even matter? And everybody that has built a portfolio, that has been trained and educated properly and does this professionally, meaning that investing in real estate is their sources of income, because most of them actually have more than one source of income, because depending on how many strategies you actually implement, okay, is the fact that, hey, let me tell you this. If I have one property, however, let's just say that it's an income property, it's a multi-unit residential property, it's one property, however, it's got, let's say, 60 units in there, and it is spitting out $20,000 a month in passive income for me. Does that change your perception a little bit? What if I told you that I've met an investor who says, oh yeah, you know what, I've got a dozen properties under my belt. You know, I got condos, I got single family homes, and I got townhouses. Awesome. How much are you cash flowing on a monthly basis? Are you financially free? They will say, oh yeah, no, you know the name of the game with real estate, you just kind of hang on to it. Right now, my best performing property is probably only spitting out about $200 on a monthly basis. So let's just say that even if $200 is the average, multiply it by a dozen, which is 12, that's $2,400 a month. And I'm going to tell you this, most people these days are not even able to achieve getting qualified for 12 properties on their own. Something we'll go into in a later episode as well, is to kind of share with you how lending works in, well, Canada and the US. And actually, funny enough, very similar to how lending works in the UK, where we also invest. And based on my knowledge, in Australia, in New Zealand, and in Singapore as well. So looking back at this, those are the questions that you can actually spot somebody who is not really educated nor a professional. So then really it begs the question once again, how to spot them? Well, an educated and professional investor, or business person for the lack of better words right now, are the people that actually focus on what we call return on investment. Return on investment, because smart entrepreneurs and business people, yes, they understand there's no such thing as a free lunch in this world. However, what they focus on is how much is it going to make me, as opposed to putting their focal point on how much is it going to cost me. I'll give you an example. If I come to you today and say, hey, you know what? I actually got a real estate opportunity that is going to make us $1 million net in the next 12 months. Would you be interested? Or would you want to go in on it with me? Guess what most people will say? Yes, I'm in. Making $1 million, even if we have to go 50-50, that's totally fine. I'll make $500,000 in the next 12 months. I have never made that kind of money in my life yet so far. For example, that's the person's response. And now I will say, okay, awesome. It is going to take $5 million to get into the opportunity. So think about the psychology behind that. Okay, a person who spots the opportunity and understanding what the return is, they're already starting to think about, okay, if I can actually make $500,000 in the next 12 months, that's on average about 5 to 10 times the average Canadian household income, depending on where you're at and depending on your own personal earning level at this point. However, it is still a decent chunk of money. That's what I'm saying. And so now, all of a sudden, the thinking starts to shift. I do want to make that $500,000, because if I can make that $500,000, what that means is I can now take that $500,000 and invest into other deals. Or, you know what, I can maybe even quit my job right now and actually focus on building that passion business that I've wanted to do for the last 5, 10, 20 years now. And so all of a sudden, the question now becomes, and this is also the second tip from day one as well, is no longer, I cannot. Where the heck am I going to find $5 million? Better yet, even if we're going 50-50, where am I going to find 2.5? However, it's now becoming, where can I find $2.5 million now and make the $500,000 in the next 12 months? Because now you can start to see what that's going to do for you and your life. And so that's the funny thing. And so aside from focusing on the return question, okay, an educated and professional investor always focuses on cash flow. Why? Because we treat every single property like a proper business. We treat every single property like a proper business. So what that means is at the end of every single month, initially when you're doing the deal analysis, before you even get into the purchase, you already know that even during the worst case scenario that you've already mapped out, and this is why we said educated investor. Educated by definition means that they understand how to carry out their deal analysis and they are taking calculated risks. So I want to make it very clear to a lot of you, and you'll notice that I'm just a lot more straightforward this season now too, is that there is no point sugarcoating, because when it comes to investing inherently has risks no matter what. What we're all doing here, honestly, is to learn how to take calculated risks. And one of my mentors taught me this very well, is what's the best case scenario and what is the worst case scenario, and can you handle it if it's the worst case scenario? And so that essentially is what education and training is all about when it comes to evaluating either property opportunities or a business opportunity as well. So to sum it up, how to spot an educated and professional investor is simply by the questions that they ask you, by simply looking at how they look at the opportunity that you present. So rather than going after big numbers in terms of numbers of properties, that's not what we're focusing on, because once again, I shared this with you already. Everybody gets into wanting to get themselves educated, to take them to the next level, to build financial security. And by definition, there's usually a number attached to the financial security, which is your financial goal. You started doing this because you have a certain financial target to hit. And that translates into maybe the number of doors you need to have, maybe the type of strategies that you need to have. However, the number of properties definitely is not part of that equation initially. So that's today's episode. I hope that you're getting lots out of this. So make sure that if you got any questions, comment and message me and like and share this with anybody that you think can benefit from this. Once again, season 2, 60 episodes in total. So step by step, we're going to get there, because what I want to do is really address some of the most common negative issues that people have with money, with finances, and also a lot of the misconceptions about what real estate investing really is. So that's this episode, and I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great evening, everybody, and live well. I'll see you tomorrow.